Bonsoir tout le monde. Welcome back to Plays EU4 Universalis 4 for absolute beginners. We are back with France after putting quite a lot of work into recovery. In the process of annexing another vassal. Looks like the war between England and Burgundy is over. Just thinking about this Milanese question again. If we were to attack Burgundy, Milan would join in. That does give us an opportunity to enforce overlordship over Milan. And apparently Castile and Provence will join in if it gets to December. So that's actually quite a good option. So we need to have our armies up to scratch. So what do we have? Let's try and get these done. 15-4. Right, so basically I'm going to have to make this loan situation worse. So I'm going to take another loan. Don't want to, but no real option. Need some more horses. Need some more men. See where that gets us. Might start improving with Castile again because we want them to join in. I mean, in some ways Provence might be more important, but Castile is more powerful and Provence looks like they got enough problems to worry about right now. So you have to question how much help they will actually be. Spare no expense again. Same thing we had before. Move you over here. Also want to move into position. We really are going to need to take... Oh, hang on. Let's slow down a bit to think about this. Gonna have to really take Burgundy out. This isn't going to be easy. Okay, so this is a sort of Catholic thing. So we're better off going with the Catholic response at the moment. This business with reform desire, although it's theoretically negative, it's the point at which the Protestant Reformation happens. Generally you gain advantages yourself. And it's just going to happen anyway, so you may as well ignore it and just go for whatever gives you an advantage and not worry about reform desire. I think only the Pope really gets concerned about that. Let's just move them in. So right, supply limit 28, that's fine. We are definitely going to want to move in on Burgundy as fast as possible. We may lose the war anyway, but we'll see. We'll see how many allies we can get. And the benefits of winning will be quite considerable, because if we do it properly, we may be able to end up with Milan, either in a personal union or a vassal, not sure which. Okay, so we've got 14 and 4, 15 and 4, right, so we want another unit of men-at-arms, and how close are we to our force limit now? Because this would be a great time to hit that force limit, so we need 3 more. Let's do it. I don't know if we can afford it, but hopefully we'll be taking some land, which might make all the difference. Yep, not a big issue. Nobility power declining. Assuming... check this occasionally. I'm assuming we don't have a son on the diet, and we do. Right, they want us to go for England, but this isn't the time. This is nobility. Bourgeoisie just want us to invest. Clergy just want us to invest. We want to pause because there's just been an uprising. Right, the clergy, oddly enough, are actually less loyal right now, so maybe we should go with the clergy. although the advantage over bourgeoisie is that it's diplomatic power, which is less important. So let's go for theirs, Narbonne. Okay, rebels in Paris, that's great timing. And if we can just find Narbonne, is it here? So, I don't know if we've really covered this. We literally click on the actual territory and there are these three things. Again, this is administrative, diplomatic and military. And to invest in this case, we literally just click this button twice. And then the bourgeoisie are happy. And they've actually given us some money. That will actually help with us embracing the Renaissance as well. Not something I'm going to go into right now. We might make use of it later. Okay, so in theory, we're actually ready to attack. Because we're moving our army into position. I believe they're a vassal, aren't they? This is still going to be extremely dangerous. But there you go, we've been extremely conservative so far, really cautious. Perhaps it's actually about time we did a bit of risk taking. Why have we not fulfilled that mission? 100% of force limit. Our force limit apparently just randomly went up. Okay, so that's an army of 20. That will be an army of 21. So we just need one more man-at-arms. Don't want to spend too long recovering because it gives Burgundy a chance to recover from their war as well. In fact, I might just go for it. Hang on, why can't we get them to join in? Okay, Castile likes Burgundy. That's unfortunate. Provence also likes Burgundy. Right, hadn't anticipated that. They also... Now you see we're actually getting a negative from our diplomatic reputation now. So there's a question, can we take on Burgundy and Milan and Burgundy's vassals on our own? Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out. Diplomat's just returning. Let's see. I'm hoping we're about to fulfill that mission, which might give us some army benefits. Of course, we have a number of vassals as well. There, it has. Okay, so built to force limit. No, we lost a sea war, that's fine. Morale of armies goes up, land maintenance modifier is also improved. We've automatically got expand France. So in theory, developing and constructing things is now cheaper. I think development was the thing we did for the bourgeoisie down in Narbonne. So it would have cost less diplomatic power with that ability. Okay, here they come. And construction is naturally just making buildings. Right, can I go there? And if I do, is this army going to join in? I think it would be wise, at least, to bring both armies over, because we've got got the advantage with there being a fort there, but if this army comes along... Doesn't look like they're going to, but just in case, we would be in serious trouble. Oh no. Well, one of them's... yeah, they're turning around. So yeah, having our army coming up to help is probably going to save our bacon. So there we go. This may even be the deciding battle of the war. I'm quite pleased it's being fought on our land with our fort. They've changed their minds. That's good. That's very good. Right, you head back there. This army isn't really for turning around. Oh, there we go. So we'll combine them into a single army, and I'm going to go for Burgundy's capital. Ooh. Do we want to though, or do we want to try and take out that army? No, they're running away. It's a bit of a problem because while the wars will be won or lost based on fighting between armies, the more we take their land, the less they'll be able to replace their armies. So we do have a little bit of a war of attrition going on as well. Family secret, okay, this is going to be bad, so we either lose 20 prestige, we do have 40 now, or we lose some claim strength. I would rather have a problem now than save problems for later, so I'm going to scold him publicly. Might be a mistake, but I'm hoping we're going to gain at least a bit of prestige from this war. If we win. Merge of Armagnac, that's fine. That's a vassal. Do have a spare diplomat, so I might start improving relations with Provence. Sometimes even when they won't join in your war at the outset, they will later join in, especially if you're winning. Which I wouldn't always bother with, but in this case, because we're primarily interested in Milan, oddly enough, despite having attacked Burgundy, quite inclined to accept that. Unfortunately, they've gone straight back to sieging this castle, which I kind of wish they hadn't, because I have a feeling I'm going to end up pulling this army out again. I don't want to lose Chartres, if possible. Doing this one. Yeah, none of this is great. I suppose at least we're sieging 2 castles where they're only sieging 1. And it does seem like our armies are quite well matched. So we may be able to take them on as long as we keep our armies together. Especially if they've taken a hit to the manpower, we do still have some in reserve. Okay, well, we should certainly speed up a little anyway. That's good. Making progress there. Not so much progress there. So, we've got at least 3 sieges going on at once. It sometimes happens, you're kind of in a race as to which castle falls first. This one has been going on the longest though, so I'm reasonably hopeful that Nevers will at least fall. However, we can no longer take them on without both of our armies. It might even be worth combining our armies into one. I'm more or less ignoring the existence of our vassals at the moment, although they are still helping a bit, going around attacking and taking over little bits of the country. Let's see, with that going up there to look after our vassals, we could even take them out. once this castle falls without having to move this army. Unless we're forced to. What are they doing? Minus 28, so they're fine. Yes, of course. Oh! Much better. Oh. Oh, right, let's knock that down again. Okay, right, so they brought both armies back, so I'm instead going to send this one to help the siege and possibly join these two armies together under the one better general. Oh, they've abandoned Italy. That's actually come too late to be useful. Sorry, I skipped past that event, but it suggested that the Holy Roman Emperor, yeah, they've given up on Italy, so Milan's no longer part of the Empire. Which is really annoying, because we only got involved in this fight with Burgundy because they were part of the Empire, and we couldn't attack them directly. Right, never mind. Let's combine. Should mean we can finish this siege sooner, so I'm hoping we can finish it soon enough to head straight over there and attack them while that's still our castle. Debatable whether we can do that. But I'd hate to lose all the progress on this siege now that we're in the positive. I mean, if necessary, we could just take Chartres back. 28. They're still on 0%, so still no danger of a surrender. Because in theory we could have a surrender immediately. Okay, there's a danger that our castle will surrender now, whereas ours has not moved. We're still stuck on 28. Also a question why they've got the 1-star general. I suppose basically the game thinks the 1-star general is better than the 2-star. Which is interesting. Okay. We gain a plus to our trade, which is nice. Positive to institutions spread. In theory, this siege could be over any second. Okay, so we're going to head straight over there. What we don't want is for the castle to fall just before we arrive, so that we're forced to fight at a disadvantage. If we arrive there before the castle falls, we'll have an advantage. Also, our vassal has engaged them in combat just before we arrive, which stops them from helping, which is very much appreciated, because this is a much closer battle than I expected. Okay, so that's good. Okay, let's slow this down. Visit from some shady people. Right, we're not currently building any spy networks, so let's go with the 5 prestige. Automatically, right. So, what should our next move be? I'm inclined to keep taking castles from Burgundy directly. Yep. Okay, so we've got another one of these. In fact, I think it's exactly the same one, so we'll go with he is probably a heretic again. Might split the armies in two. Again, I'm assuming... Ooh, can we risk it? Actually, no, let's not. I was just thinking, I'm assuming we could move one from one castle to another if necessary, but I don't think we can, given the way he's having to go around. I'm not that concerned about Crimea right now, so let's just reunite. So in theory the siege will go faster because we have a bigger army. Hopefully faster than they can take that castle back, but we will see. I feel like this is very much going to be a war of attrition. We're quite evenly matched. Although it's a bit of a relief, because when I was attacking, I was concerned we might be overwhelmed. I wasn't really. I hadn't really expected to have to do this with no allies. Thanks a lot, allies. Okay, so what we're dealing with here. They actually have the advantage, so I am going to abandon our siege and head back to sort them all out. I don't want to lose that castle, basically, and defeating their armies in the meantime is something I am definitely up for. I don't need to get all of them, but any of their armies we can destroy is going to be a plus. Of course, if we lose, that could backfire horribly. And it doesn't in fact look like we're going to lose. That's very unfortunate. Okay, so this is normally what happens when you lose, is your army gets put into retreat. It looks like we're retreating back. Right, okay, let's stop this. They tend to give you these events in entirely the wrong order. So, doesn't seem to have told us that our king has actually died, which is odd, but we've got the new king, Louis the 11th. We've got a new heir, who will be Louis the 12th, because France loves calling their kings Louis. We've lost some stability, which has put it into negative stability, which we need to sort out. And we've got this event, controversial poet. Wanted in Paris for stealing money from university. Serious crimes. Okay. Full pardon, so we can get potential new advisor, but we lose some loyalty and don't get involved. I am inclined to throw him back in jail. Don't want to be mean, but I could use the extra loyalty from the clergy. Okay, cautiously restart the clock. I'm going to fix this stability. In fact, I might fix it twice. So we haven't really done this screen before, except briefly to look at overextension. At least I don't think we have. But one of the things we can do here, we can track our war exhaustion, which is how fed up our citizens are of war, and our stability can be boosted by using administrative power. You need more the higher your stability is. So, not going to boost it any further. It can also allow you to track potential rebels. So we're going to have some Breton separatists at some point. Okay, so we do have a bit of a problem. I didn't realise there was a castle there as well. In that it would appear that our army is not big enough to overcome Burgundy. So one option we do have is to hire mercenaries. So this is the production interface again. Yep, happy to have a royal marriage with Scotland. And instead of the standard armed units, we can move across to recruit mercenaries. These are generally obtained as complete armies, but they should boost us quite nicely. So seeing as we've got a spare general, I'm going to go for a free company. Raise them in Paris as well. And once they appear, we will give them their own general. So this is probably going to put us horribly into debt. I'm just counting on it being worth it. Okay. So this is our free company. They're not huge. We're going to move them. We can't combine the armies. The free company has to remain a separate army, but we can give them a general if they don't have one. If they don't come with one, which they haven't. Move across there. See if they will allow us to take this army out without interfering. Yes, you can have a royal marriage. Oh, we're getting a bunch of royal marriages because we've got a new king. Now they're moving the other way, so they've abandoned that siege. Not bringing the mercenaries down just yet because their morale's so low. Although if it looks like we're going to lose, I might bring them down anyway. I imagine that we're going to win anyhow. And it looks like they're abandoning these sieges. I think they're trying to circle round to help. Brilliant. So we won anyway. Which is good, because they've abandoned both of their sieges. We have seriously harmed Milan's army. In fact, this siege is still going on. So maybe, seeing as they abandoned theirs, we'll have to start from scratch. Let's go and help our vassals take this castle. Because we don't need much morale for that, and there's a reasonable chance. There you go. That we'll be able to take it down fairly quickly and then head down to break these sieges again. A lot of the progress on the war score is made by taking castles. Winning battles is very important as well, and it's far more important for actually winning the overall war. But taking castles definitely does help, partly because it's quite hard to retake them. I mean, we'd obviously taken this one, this one and this one. They're still trying to get those back. And so far they haven't managed to take any of ours. Brilliant. Right, we're going to head down to this one and try to relieve the siege. So we do have our numbers slightly bolstered by the mercenary army now. But it looks like they can actually come over to help, which is disappointing. We do have a castle on our side, but we may still lose. We've won! I really didn't expect that. After losing last time, I just got inured to the idea we were going to lose. It looks like our vassals came to help just in time. So, brilliant! Okay then, well that's a bit of progress. We're hopefully going to take a bit more land from Burgundy. So hopefully all of this time, while we're able to keep maintaining our troops... Actually, let's go and break that siege. Because all of our lands are still free, still providing us with taxes, etc. Ooh. Let's wait here, actually. Don't really want to send all our troops in. Oh, they're running away anyway. Oh well, that's fine then. I've just finished integrating another of our vassals. Might send them across to help, even though their morale is incredibly low, because I think it might still make all the difference. One of our vassals has also joined in. I have to say, we are cutting a lot of these battles incredibly fine, and that one was cut too fine. We lost. Okay. Basically, just going to have to hope that Burgundy is suffering as badly as we are. So, our armies are fleeing. We can't actually do anything until they finish fleeing. I think our vassals' old army was lost entirely. Oh no. No, I'm wrong. Okay, so if we can get our two armies, we can coalesce them at least. Looks like they're trying to siege Paris. Now, normally I would make peace at this point because we're well ahead And obviously this war is harming us a lot. And we are not having a good time here. The problem is that we still really want Milan. We're not really that interested in Burgundy for once. So, I mean, if we have to, we will accept that we can't have Milan. See, Burgundy want to make peace. But as it happens, we don't actually want to make peace because we want Milan. And if we make peace with Burgundy... oh, good grief. Then we lose our chance of getting Milan. I have a horrible feeling we're going to lose again. On the plus side, some of our vassals are now attacking Milan directly, which might be useful. And yes, we've lost again, and one of our armies is being pursued, which is really harsh. Getting a horrible feeling we may end up having to make peace, simply because this is just causing us too much pain. Seriously, run further. Run further. Stop in the next province and wait for the army to come and get you. Right, let's see if there's any chance that we can actually get Milan now. I'm not sure what we actually need. So, French vassal... well, they're claiming we can't even have them anyway. Right, okay, so in that case, we may as well make peace. So let's try to make peace, see if we can get something decent. We can. I don't know why we're asking them to give cause to Switzerland. Right, so unfortunately we're now stuck with a truce. I don't know if we'll still have this when the truce runs out, so we may have lost our chance at Milan. But then, I wasn't entirely expecting to get Milan anyway. On the plus side, we've made some progress with Burgundy. We've taken 3 bits of their land. We also want to get rid of his mercenary army because they're very expensive. So this... and I've got rid of our own army by accident. That's embarrassing. Okay, I'm sure I've done this on a previous video. Right, yes, I'm sure they do have a high liberty desire. Right, so we really need to build our army back up as soon as possible, but we're going to need some manpower to do it. So we're just going to have to wait for our manpower. We need 1,000 manpower for every unit we make. So this high liberty desire, if you remember this screen, is to the size of our army against the size of ours. So because we've now got no army whatsoever, we're not surprisingly suffering a little. They're kind of, yeah, we'll be very lucky if no one attacks us. Another alert that I don't think we've seen before, war exhaustion is high. May have seen it, so this takes us back to the stability and expansion screen. We don't actually need to worry about this now because we're out of the war, so our war exhaustion should be going down every month. So I'm not too worried about that, but thanks to my lack of care when getting rid of our mercenaries, we currently have no army, so that's much more of a concern. Never mind. Right, so I'm going to start improving diplomatic relations with our remaining vassals. Nevers is not one of our vassals. Where's our... oh yeah, sorry, down here. It'll tie up our diplomats, and we're just going to start rebuilding our army. I suppose on the plus side, I think debatably it might be less expensive to rebuild our army this way. Just incredibly dangerous. So every time we get 1,000 people in our manpower pool, I'm just going to make a new unit and we'll start rebuilding. But anyway, that embarrassing mistake aside, we did manage to make some inroads into Burgundy, so that's good. Okay, so what else? So actually, even though I don't think we're going to have a chance to make Milan a vassal, we have made some good progress, because Burgundy was, apart from the English, our most dangerous rival, and we've seriously taken some land from them, which is good. They also gave a bit back to Switzerland, who's quite diminished, so Switzerland should be very thankful. As things currently stand, I'm assuming none of the land we got was from the Empire. Oh, it is. Okay, so these bits of land, which are kind of diagonal lands across them, are part of the Empire, but they're owned by someone who's not a member of the Empire, which does include Burgundy, but also includes us. So that's going to make Austria hate us even more. But another problem, it won't be the last time, so our other 2 bits of land weren't part of the Empire. So that's interesting. So Burgundy's been chased a little further into the Empire. Right, brilliant. Okay, so I did want to check something else up here, and I'm completely forgetting what it was I wanted to look at. I probably wanted to check our missions, because we have filled in a couple now. Conquer new states we'll probably handle ourselves. There's nothing here that's particularly surprising. Trade embargoes we have done. We're making a lot of money now because we don't have an army. This again, not too concerned with. We will come back to this screen. Ah, yes. There was a reason. Oh, interesting. So this is something you get when you take land from the Empire. Basically, the Holy Roman Emperor, which in this case is Austria, sends a demand that we return this province, which is technically part of the Empire, to the Holy Roman Empire. So we basically have to tell them to get lost, but it does mean that they get a reason for war against us. All the nations of the Holy Roman Empire kind of hate us, and there's a load of extra issues with the land, which is another reason why you have to be very careful. Let's repay the loan. That's something I wanted to do. Also, the Iberian Wedding. This is another event which basically combines Castile and Aragon. So we've probably lost our opportunity to take land from Aragon without having to fight Castile now, which is a shame. This happened a lot earlier than I'm used to. Rarely does that happen quite so early. But, hey, that's how things go. I'm still pleased at the victory over Burgundy, especially because we're doing so badly. I'm genuinely quite surprised that they were still willing to make peace, but we'd built up a lot of war score before the war started turning against us. So, that's fine. This was in theory, we might as well put one of our generals in charge of this tiny army. And let's build another tiny army. This could take a while. Still, maybe we'll pay our loans off. At least we've paid one of them off. I think we've just got the one left. Oh no, we've got 2. Right, we must have taken another one without me noticing. Fair enough. So the other thing I did want to look at just today was the estate privileges. I'm not keen to do any of the ones I was worrying about that provide the relevant estates with more land, because if it turns out that we lose too much land, I don't think we would, but if we did, we don't have the ability to seize land because we can't put down a rebellion with no army. However, I think there are a couple of privileges we can grant that don't give land. So the privileges are in these squares here. The nobility already has this one, which we definitely want to get rid of to make us into a more normal country. But one of them here, Papal Emissary, it means that the papal blessings, which in theory we could have now, will cost more, but it will give us, let me get back to it, it will give us +1 yearly papal influence. So I do think it's worth it. You can't take it without I think you need at least 20 papal influence, which is why I didn't do it at the start, but we only lose 5 papal influence, so let's make that one. Okay, and I think with the bourgeoisie we also have one, patronage of the arts, which improves our prestige, and in general it will cost us in taxes, but I think we should just do this and we'll just cope. So the ones we're planning on doing, there's one of these for each of the 3 estates. This one's Land of Commerce. It gives us 1 extra diplomatic power, but it does give them, yeah, we lose 10% crown land, which would take us below 30. So we can't afford to do that. So normally I would be doing this now, and if we went below 30 I would instantly seize land to get above. But as it is, can't risk seizing land. But that's fine. We've got a couple of new little privileges there, which we're probably going to keep for the game. I'm going to put my other general in charge up here. Yeah, can't afford them yet, that's fair enough. Just want to rebuild. This Liberty Desire warning should disappear. Okay, so what else? Don't think we can have these yet because of our Papal Emissary, which is fine. We already have 5 put into being the next Papal Controller, so that's also fine. So I think we may just want to speed things up a little. Let's go up to 4. Oh, good grief. Okay, failed administration. That's not good, so we either lose stability or we lose government reform progress. As I've said, I don't consider this to be that valuable, so let's go with that. Even though it sounds terrible, it'll be supported by gold instead. Okay, this is fine. The bourgeoisie are doing well, very happy for them. I'll try and keep these armies equivalent. I would like to introduce some cavalry soon-ish. They're more expensive. But we do want to have 4 per army. Okay, so the other thing is, I think we now have enough for a papal blessing. Okay, so these are the papal blessings. The only one we can't afford is stability. Sort of shows how valuable stability is. And we can't do Proclaim Holy War because we need to be at war. That basically improves your manpower pool. So what do we have? We've got more taxes, basically, handy for money. We've got more prestige, oh, and morale. So that is a very valuable one and probably the one we'll actually go for, especially when the prestige is this low. We want as close to 100 as we can. This one's more legitimacy, although it also improves relations now. Legitimacy is still quite high, but it's very valuable. Sanction Commercial Monopoly, this is another money one. It's not as valuable at the start of the game, but when we start to rely more on trade than taxes, it will be very valuable. It increases our mercantilism, which is currently 9%. I think we had to reduce it a bit back with an event, but now at the moment we would probably go for levy church tax instead anyway for money. This one improves our diplomatic reputation and helps us to annex people. It would actually be quite worthwhile for our upcoming annexations, so that's interesting. Also, our diplomatic reputation is pretty low right now. Might go for prestige anyway though. This one helps our manpower pool recover and also helps us maintain our army, but you have to be at war, and I believe it runs out as soon as the war's over, so you only want it. Oh, good grief. Have we had one of these? Comets anyway, always bad. I'd like to think they affect anyone. There may be a DLC that allows you to have a less bad thing, but basically it's just, yeah, lose some stability for no good reason. Thanks a lot. So you basically want this one at the start of a really long war. So like the one with Burgundy, I might have gone for it, because it would have been a much longer war if it hadn't gone so badly for us. And forgive usury is useful when you have loans, especially if you have lots of loans. At the moment I think we've only got 2, so it's not so bad. So even though we could really do with money, I think I'm going to go for Bless Ruler, which gives us yearly prestige, which is mostly what we want it for. But the morale of armies may be useful. So our papal influence has gone back down to 2. But it should help our prestige to increase. It's actually increasing yearly now, which is great. Partly thanks to patronage of the arts as well, that new privilege we granted to the bourgeoisie. Okay, I think we can make another cavalry. That's gone up. We finished coring some provinces, which will probably help with our money. Once again, we need to make states. We may need to make 2. Yes. And we'll then need to finish coring them again, which costs us more administrative power. I'm also going to boost stability again just to get it back up. You see our war exhaustion has gone down, and it's still going down. In theory, our next attack will be on England, but we need to rebuild our armies first, which is going to take a while. So yes. Nonetheless, notwithstanding my terrible error there, I'm quite pleased with how this has gone. I'm really pleased to have made some inroads into Burgundy. That's always worth doing, and they can be quite a scary rival for France, more so than England, because Burgundy is entirely on the continent, and although they don't look very big, they have so many vassals that they're honestly just way more powerful than they look. Plus, as you saw, we couldn't get either of our allies to help against Burgundy. Any of our allies, I should say. We have 3 now, don't we? Castile, Provence and Scotland. Whereas they're usually much more willing to help against England. So we'll probably have to decide whether to go for England again, which is a big possibility. We could probably go for England without landing troops in Scotland, because we really just want to kick them off the continent, and they still have quite a few provinces on the continent. They may also be allied to Brittany, which they are. So we could actually attack Brittany, take some provinces from England and make peace with England, and then vassalize Brittany, perhaps? Okay, right. Patronage for Renaissance artists. We should go for this. It's like patronage of the arts again. And in fact, we're not even losing very much money. So that's well worth it. Our prestige is looking much better, and it has moved us towards embracing the Renaissance. So that's brilliant. So, as long as no one attacks us because of our supremely weak army, I think that's actually not bad. It's the first victory over Burgundy and well worth happening. So yeah, with that done, I shall call it a day, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.